Good morning, YouTubers, and welcome once again to the southern wing of the Stink Bug Works, that super secret research and development division of Dr. Jet Laboratories. We are here to subject you to another Edward D. Wood, unedited, unscripted, unrehearsed, unwarranted, unfunny video. Anyway, before I start, a big thanks to all my subscribers. You know, I don't do this for the money. The only reason I do this is I like to share ideas with like-minded people. This is such a niche hobby. There aren't a lot of people interested in it. And it's a lot of fun to share ideas and thinkings and successes and failures and such. And so I thank you guys. I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Remember, I don't make a penny at this, and I don't want to make a penny at it. Otherwise, I'd just become, in my mind, a prostitute. Now, I wouldn't mind free stuff, and we're going to talk about some free stuff right here. I asked a question a while ago, which should I work on next? And a bunch of people said the catamaran. But you know, as I got to thinking about it, Josh K, and I don't know the pronunciation of his last name, so I'm just going to call him Josh K until I can say it right. I don't want to embarrass anybody by mispronouncing their name. I think that's rude. So, Josh K, I'm going to work on this next. Now, this is the Timmy from Dead Ahead Boats. We talked about this before, and it's reminiscent of the cracker boxes of old, and it's a fiberglass hull done in the shoebox method, where you have the lid that goes over here, and it looks like spray matte, and it looks like he used fiberglass resin. There's a problem with fiberglass resin. Not so much in the hull, because it's supported all around, but fiberglass resin likes to do this. You see how it's got that big curve in there? And yeah, you can add some heat and bend it back, but you know, there's a lot of disformation on this. And so I'm not going to use that hatch. In fact, what I'm going to make here for a hatch, a lot of you might consider unsightly, but it's going to have a purpose. You know that I'm going to do this as a jet boat, and we'll talk about some of my ideas in a bit. I want it to be self-righting, so I'm going to install a flood chamber along, what would that be, the starboard side, over here on the left side. And the canopy, or the whatever you want to call it, the hatch canopy, has to be sort of tall and want to float so that it'll want to force the boat over. So it's going to be this big bubble. I'm going to take a sheet of G10 fiberglass for this, and then put a foam bubble over it, and then I'll glass over the whole thing, and then grind out the foam as necessary, or just leave it. We'll see. But it's going to have sort of a big unsightly blister right there. Okay, now let's talk about the jet drive. I picked this rather inexpensive Chinese one over the TFL jet drive for a couple of reasons. The TFL jet drive is much more efficiently designed, but because of that, remember I talked about how I rounded this off? Well, the TFL is just a tube that bends this way, so this doesn't exist. But it's also much longer, so it moves the whole unit forward, it moves the motor forward, and it's going to be hard to balance. So I thought this the best. I'm just going to do this. As for a flood chamber, it's nice that it's relatively flat here. I'll make a cardboard template. And again, I'll take some G10 fiberglass and some G10 fiberglass and build all this up. So this is going to take a whole lot of fiberglassing, and I'm going to be using epoxy. So epoxy will stick to this, and so it'll be fine. This polyester, that's what this is. It's polyester resin. So the epoxy will stick to that. It'll be no problem. I'll rough it up a bit and it'll be fine. So here's my plan. This thing's real flat, and so it's going to need the cracker boxes had a fin here, and I think Josh included a skid fin here as well. Since I'm doing a jet, my plan is this. Here, watch this. I'm going to cut out a hole about like that. And I'm also going to extend that up to here. So I'm going to cut out this hole like that. Then what I'm going to do is, out of G10 fiberglass, I'm going to build a bottom and a transom bolted onto this. So it'll all bolt together. It'll all be 90 degrees. All the holes will line up and everything will line up. And then I'll epoxy that together. And then eventually that will fill up this hole, and I'll epoxy all of that in there. So I'll have a real nice clean inlet and outlet. So now I have this flat surface here. Well, I've been looking at RC jet boats, and a lot of them seem to have little fins outside of the inlet here. And my plan is, if I can bend this in my brake, I think I can bend this. This is a piece of stainless steel, and I think I may have to trim some off, but I think I can bend up about 1/4 of an inch and make a C channel that'll have the opening here and will extend beyond the transom that far. So I'll have this channel extending beyond the transom flat, and these will act as stabilizing fins to keep the boat going straight and allow the whole turning jet business to work. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the reverse bucket. I mean, I have the option, but I also have the option of using just the squirter nozzle. So I may go with just the squirter nozzle, because how often do you have to go backwards? And that's a lot of little delicate parts out there. I don't know how rugged. So we'll make that call further on down the line. So that's my basic thinking on this. We'll replace this whole portion. We'll put hopefully a stainless steel plate. If not, I'll use a G10 plate with some sort of blade down here. I'll figure out a way. But that's my plan for this. And fortunately, this stuff is really rugged in all directions. And I'm thinking this boat may take some abuse. I may even look for like an aluminum channel that I could, like a K&S aluminum angle that I could put down here sort of as protection. So that's my plan. And of course, I'm going to run the SV27 motor, and the shaft in it is so long that I hate trimming motor shafts down, but it looks like that shaft needs to be shortened by about 1/4 of an inch. So I'll have to cut the motor shaft. Oh well, so be it. It's just a motor. Anyway, there you go, boys and girls. Until next time, jet out.